Well, welcome everybody. It's 2 o'clock. We're going to start a new program today for the entry level representatives. And I'm just going to walk through it today and explain how the process works. We've got some people here that are considering adding estate planning as part of their career, as part of their income. We've got some people here who are new licensees, and then we've got some established licensees who are coming to learn the process. So I'm ready to get started. Asset Positioning Services. I'm Randall Baxter. I'm the president of the company, and today's class is called Advanced Training Spoon Fed, and I call it that on purpose. Sort of a joke because FED is FED, Family Estate Docs, but you're going to learn today about a 30-day training program that will take you from entry beginner level all the way up to ready to go in 30 days as an estate planner. And you don't skip any steps. So be sure that if you take this training, you do day one on day one, you do day two on day two. Don't skip anything. Okay, so again, I'm Randall Baxter. I'm the president of the company. I'm the author of Approach Plan to Succeed. I'm also the author of a sales presentation called Family Tree Asset Positioning, the go-to first interview. We're the provider of Family Estate Doc software. I'm the head trainer of the Family Tree Asset Positioning process. I'm also the head coach of the Cycle of Success. I have Jay Cadlick and Greg Davis are my support staff, and Lisa in South Africa for our technology end. And here's what I'm going to do in the next lesson today. Let me teach you to hunt. That's the theme of today. And so, and if you learn what I'm about to teach today, you'll never be hungry again. I promise that. So anyway, some of you have seen this screen, but we're going to be talking about a couple of things today. One's the company culture, the mission, the vision, the values of asset positioning services. And I want to get that clear today so that we all understand who we are, or you understand who we are, because today I sort of want this to be where you're listening to interview our company to see if it's the right company for you to work with. And I think that's very important. First thing, the overall mission of this training exercise is to make you aware of, to teach you the process of the cycle of success. And Greg Davis is our master on that. Once you get involved, you'll probably wind up talking to him about all the different steps of the cycle of success. We're going to talk about how it's applied to the marketing of what I call the Family Tree Asset Positioning Go-To First Interview. Now, you folks who are here on the entry level, just to learn what's going on, we have a process that we can teach you to go and speak to people about the fact that they might benefit from a conversation with you about their current estate plan. And it's not the one that you want them to buy, but it's the one they currently own. And if you stick with that concept, you'll almost never get told no if you ask people for an appointment. The biggest issue that we have in our industry today is people are afraid they'll get rejected, and you don't get rejected when you make this approach, because people are seriously interested in having a conversation about their current estate plan with someone that they think would help them benefit from it. So it's just a natural thing. So my vision in the company, and I've been doing this for years. I was talking to Greg Davis today, and he said I've been developing this system for 35 years. And the answer is actually 41 years. And we've been doing it for a long, long time, and it's gotten better every year. It's gotten more profitable every year. So the vision is to create a nationwide network of trained presenters who could lead their clients to the establishment of the proper estate planning concepts that fit their true purpose for money, and how to select the proper people in their lives to apply their wishes when they cannot speak for themselves. That doesn't say sell a life insurance policy or sell an annuity policy or pick up assets under management or have anything to do with long-term care or real estate investments. All it says is that we want to teach you how to help people find their true purpose for money. And everybody's got a different true purpose for money. And everybody wants to know that if they ever find themselves in a position where they can't speak for themselves, that they have already made those decisions and selected the right people to represent them. Once you do that, once you show someone how to do that, and they work with you to establish a proper estate plan, they have to do a proper funding process for that estate plan. Or the estate plan is just like a big old clamshell, and you open it up and it's empty. You don't want that if you have an estate plan. You want to have an estate plan that's properly funded, and that's what we're going to teach you to do. You want to learn. So anyway, what are the values of my company? Each of my representatives will be taught how to help the client make the best decisions concerning family dynamics, estate plan design, real estate documents, long-term care plans, income plans, health issues, and funding. So real quick, I just want to tell you a little bit of story. This morning I got up at 8 o'clock and hopped in my car, and I'd had to drive all the way to Crossville to meet a Vietnam War veteran and his wife to deliver the estate plan that they had already purchased. And as I was walking out the door, because I had to get back and I knew I didn't have time to do the funding interview. I just had to do the delivery interview. And I looked at him and I said, Bruce, now that we've got your estate plan set up, you've done a pretty good job with what you've done. I've got some ideas for you. I've looked at the investments that you already have. And I just want to say to you, congratulations, you won the game. You're 85 years old. Your wife is 84 years old. Y'all have all the money you ever need. And then I scratched my head a minute and I looked at him and I said, Bruce, why do you have that money at risk? And he looked at me and he said, that's just what I've always done. And I looked at him and I said, well, Bruce, you won the game. When I come back to do the funding interview, I've got some ideas for you, but I have to run some numbers. I need to do a little research. When I come back, would you like to see some numbers that might change the way you think about that? And he went, of course. And I'll be honest with you, I think I'll walk out there next week with several $100,000. And it will be because we've eliminated his risk and guaranteed that he's never going to run out of income. If you do that with people, they love you for it. So that's just what, when we get into the entry-level people, we will teach you how to do that if you really want to learn this business. And if you really want to have a career that you can design your own income. So we're going to talk about products and market and sales career and client testimonials here today. So let's look at products and services for a minute. Nothing happens in the estate planning process unless there's a front-end sale. And I'll repeat that. Nothing happens in estate planning unless there's a front-end sale. The front-end sale has to be the conversation that opens the door to all financial products and services. So this is where if you're an entry-level person and you're looking at my company and you're trying to say, do I want to work with these folks? This is where you come in. And if we can teach you how to develop, create, and close the front-end sale, you don't have to be insurance licensed, you don't have to be securities licensed, you don't have to be anything but yourself. And you can talk to people, and all you got to say is, hey, I think you might benefit from a conversation with me about your current estate plan. And then you got to have the knowledge to do that. That's what we teach. But that leads to the front end sale always leads to the back end sale. The reason I call this position an entry level position, an entry level representative, is I'm a firm believer that you can write your own ticket in life. You can be poor, you can be mediocre, you can be uh, secure, you can be wealthy. But I know for a fact that if you want to, you can write your own ticket. And so my company is based on showing people the opportunities that are in my company and teaching them what those opportunities are and showing them how to take those steps to get to those higher levels and let them proceed at their own pace. But the end result of the front end sale in my company and is the back end sale, which is called the funding process of the estate plans that we just talked about in the front end sale. Now, when you go to the back end sale, you have to be properly licensed. But I'm talking today to the entry level people. You don't have to be properly licensed on the front end sale. You have to be properly trained and properly coached and and given a roadmap that I'll be honest with you, I've traveled so many times. I know the way. I know what you need to do to be successful at those things. And what I'm saying to you is, let me teach you. Let me teach you how to hunt. Let me teach you how to make the money that you want. Let me teach you how to raise your pay every week if you want to. So I also want to talk about market impact a little bit. And this is a true statement. The heads of all families all over the United States of America want someone to guide them through this process. They just don't know where to turn. So sometimes they'll go to a seminar. Sometimes they'll attend a webinar. Sometimes they'll ask somebody that work at the water cooler. You got to be careful there, because if you approach somebody at the water cooler, what you'll get is what they think is right for them, not what they think is right for you. And a lot of people go to the water and they call it water cooler planning. Okay, but people, once they realize that there is someone that has entered their life that can lead them through that process and help them make those decisions without putting any real pressure on them, they're interested and they will pursue the thought. So if you're thinking about a new sales career, whether you're retired or whether, and thinking about just wanting to make some extra money, or whether, maybe you're a school teacher looking to make some extra money, or maybe even a mom with a couple of kids in school from 8:30 to 3 o'clock each day, and you know where they are and you know where they're safe, but from 9 o'clock to 2:30, you could be doing something that could be generating some extra revenue for your family. Or maybe a couple of days a month you want to just do it and maybe make a couple of $1,000s, or I'd say my average properly trained and properly coached licensee can easily knock down $250,000 a year full time within the first couple of months. But after they've been with me for a year, if they are doing all the things that I show them and all in the correct way and in the correct time frame, $500,000-$600,000 is not impossible. But the entry level person is coming in most of the time is looking for, hey, I'd like to pick up a couple extra $1,000s a month, and that's okay. And once you learn to pick up that extra couple of $1,000s a month, it's okay for you to look at me and say, hey, Randy, can I double that? And I'll go, yep. Let me show you how. And most of the time, the only thing you have to double is the one thing that you do that created the income in the first place. So if you said 4 times to 4 people that said, hey, I think you would benefit from a conversation with me about your current estate plan, and you said that 4 times to people and made $2,000 or $3,000, my first thing is, let's figure out a way for you to say that to 8 people. Not to to learn anything more advanced, not to become a product expert, not to become uh, a, a brainiac at anything, and just increase the number of times that increases the income. And I call those income producing activities. So, so first thing, we'll teach you how to approach people, and that's the weakest part of almost all sales process. All salespeople is how to properly approach somebody. Well, I'll be honest with you, I'm a master at it, and the people I work with become masters at it because they look at me when they become a master and they go, "Well, this is easy," and I'll go, "That's what I said a long time ago. Remember, you just didn't believe me." So, so I will teach you how to approach people who you think would benefit from a conversation with you about their estate plan, not the one they eventually buy from you, but the one they have right now, because that's where the problem is. This is the starting point. This is the beginning. If you're looking at it and you're going, how can I fly like you? I'd say, well, let's start at the beginning. Let me teach you how to approach people correctly about a topic everyone wants to talk about, but they don't know who to go see, and they're afraid it's going to cost too much, and they don't wake up in the morning planning to take the time to do it. But if they're in a conversation with you and you casually say, you know what, just I know your situation, I know you've got this disabled child, or I know you've got this second marriage coming on, and you've got these children you're bringing to the marriage, or you've got this health problem going on, um, you know, you might benefit from a conversation with me about your current estate plan. So again, and you entry level people that are here for the first time, I want you to listen to me. If you ask, I will send you testimonials of people who came in on the entry level and who have exorbitant incomes right now based on their estate planning activities and their funding of those estate plans on the back end. So, if I was going to make a testimonial for myself, I'd say you as the entry level person will become the topic of family conversations for years to come, because you will have helped your prospect or your client answer questions to which they have always wanted answers. And when you're ready, and not until you're ready, if you ask, I will introduce you to some of my mentors and my consultants, because I have them too. I have people that teach me every week things that I don't know, things that I need to learn. Uh, uh, and all I'm asking, and my whole company is being set up right now in a mentor position where an entry level person comes in with a mentor whose interest is to help that mentor grow, and each one of those mentors have someone who is also a mentor and will help that person grow. And I'll be honest with you, that's one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life, is see that the ability to do that is just a teaching process, and we use such a simple teaching process. We teach you one approach, we teach you one sales presentation, we teach you one way to get to the back end sale, and then we show you and introduce you to the people you might want to meet to change your life economically. So, again, when we talk about the company, the asset positioning services, that's, I called it that because that's what we do. We're going to talk about the company background here in a minute, the business achievement, the strategic initiatives that we have, the company impact, all those things. So let's look at the company background first. I've been in business since 1983. I used to be a school teacher. Had my own reasons for leaving. But in 1983, I became an agent for a large major Eastern mutual life insurance company. And they trained me to sell a particular product. And they said, Randy, go out and tell people you have a financial needs analysis and you're going to figure out how much life insurance they need to buy. So people would ask me who I was and what I did, and I'd tell them I was a life insurance salesman. And, it didn't hardly really just fit because I knew there was so much more. But that's what they paid me to do. So I went out and approached people to sell a product, not a process. So about 4 or 5 years later, I had to make a decision, and I went to have lunch with this older insurance agent who owned his own brokerage firm, and he was talking to me, and he said, "Randy, you spend all your time trying to get somebody to buy the products manufactured by one company, and they don't have every product in the world, do they?" And I said, "No." So he looked at me, and he leaned back in his chair, and he said, "Well, Randy, why don't you spend your time trying to find everyone you talk to exactly what they need instead of trying to convince them to buy those few products that you have?" Does that make sense? You know, if you're one of the entry level people that who want to come in and say, what is this? Okay, I will tell you right now that you're talking to a company that can teach you how to have anything you ever wanted in life financially by helping other people get what they want. That's pretty cool. So, so during that time, I slowly started developing what eventually became known as the Family Tree Asset Positioning Go-To First Interview. The not a first interview, the go-to first interview, that if you use it every time, and you entry level people who want or considering coming into our company, if you use this same interview every time, you'll get good at it, and then you'll get very good at it, because you do the same thing every time. And the reason you won't want to do the same thing every time is the person you're talking to has never heard it before. And they're so used to the product salesman coming out there going, "Let me talk to you about an annuity. Let me talk to you about Medicare. Let me talk to you about a life insurance policy. Let me talk to you about infinite banking. Let me talk to you about disability policies." Well, the way I do it, I get to talk to them about all of it. Because, see, I don't teach our people to be product salesmen, although we move more product than most people could ever imagine. And if you look at it and go, "I'd like to do what you do," then I would say, okay, if you want to do what I do what I do in the first step. Do the very first thing I do every time. And that is, I get people to agree that they're going to benefit from a conversation with me about their current estate plan. And when they agree to do that and talk to me on a favorable basis, I'm going to go in and do the Family Tree Asset Positioning Go-To First Interview. You know, same thing every time. Now, you can't do that in football. You can't run the same play every time, but you can in this business, and you get good at it. So the only difference between people who are making a lot of money in this industry doing what I do and people who are making a mediocre income or people not making enough income at all is the key word is implement. And don't implement wrong, implement right. So so that's what I'm saying to you. In our business, my business achievement, the majority of my business achievement, uh, I have one approach. I have one go-to first interview. I have one funding process. And I seek advocation all the time. I picked up, some of y'all have heard me laugh. I don't you think I'm silly, but I carry around two. It's in my pocket. And the two witnesses on the trust I delivered today, I gave both of them around to it and made an appointment with one of them. She said, "I need to do this." And I said, "Well, here's around to it." She said, "What's that?" And I said, "Well, now that you know you need to do it, here's around to it. Let's get it done." And she made an appointment. See, I can't tell you it didn't cost me anything. All I can tell you is I had to plan to be ready and prepared to make the proper approach when the opportunity came up. Not that I'd go out and tell 10 people all day long that, hey, I think you'd benefit from a conversation about your estate plan. They'd think I was crazy. But when somebody's just talking to somebody else and I learned something about their life, and I automatically realize this person doesn't even know they need my help. And they're not going to know that they need my help unless I ask them or say something to them that generates uh, interest. I call it Mr. Big Ears. So my company also has a strategic initiative, and this is why I'm having this meeting today. This is why I'm talking to you entry level people. You know, if you learn to be distinctive in an industry where everybody looks alike, and you knowing that being distinctive, doing things in a different way and implementing in a different way and using what I call systematic massive action and something I call use force multipliers, and then learn to build momentum. You know, those things might not make sense right now if you're an entry level person, but if you spend a couple hours with me, you'll start to see that maybe uh, we know what we're talking about. And when I tell you that we're going to do some implementation and that maybe we're going to start with systematic massive action, you may be ready for that. You may not be. But when I explain to you a force multiplier and you go, well, what's that? And I'm going to go, well, it's a force multiplier, but I call it a power phrase. Because what I'm going to teach you to do in our sales presentation is to look for micro commitments from your prospect. And eventually you don't have to look for micro commitments if you create them in advance in the statement that you made one sentence before. And without even realizing it, you are in total control of the conversation and you are leading that person right to the decision that they need to make and want to make and that you want them to make with no resistance. And get a big thank you. I got hugged today. I thought that was pretty cool. I shook Bruce's hand and I turned around to Noni. That was her name, Noni. And I said, thank you, Noni. And she said, come here. And she hugged me and she said, thank you. I have wanted this for so long. We just didn't know how to get it. Okay. And you know what? You make $1,200 on that sale if you're a licensee. You make $500 on it if you're an entry level. If you go in on the entry level, make your first sale, and decide you want to be a licensee and make $1,200 instead of $500 in your second sale, just say so. And I'll say, well, go talk to Greg. Or if you come in from Baltimore, I might say, go talk to Ed Taylor. So as far as company impact, each asset positioning services, family estate docs, family tree asset positioning representative will find themselves in what I call the financial services sweet spot. Now, and you're an entry level, you might not see that. But if you listen to me, I'll get you there every time. The sweet spot is that spot that it's where a client, if they have a relationship change, an asset change, or a health change, if you have helped them set up their estate plan, they will contact you first because they know that you know as much about their family as anybody running around in the community, and that you understand the relationships. So, so, and they also know that you help them set up the proper estate plan. So inside the company, I have a sales model that I follow. Now, I have people in my company that don't follow my sales model very well, and their income is generally lower than the people who follow my model. So it makes me wonder sometimes, why don't they follow the model? And maybe it's just because I've done it so long that it seems easy, but when I look at it, I can't think it's anything but easy if you have one approach, one sales presentation, one process, and one referral technique. And then you just do it over and over and over and over and over. So I'm going to review the sales model with you again. We will teach you how to identify people who would benefit from a conversation with you about their current estate plan. I will teach you that. I wrote a book on it. I wrote a sales presentation on it. I live it. I'm not going to show you my checking account. It gets pretty active because I do it this way. But I'm going to call that a suspect. And the definition of a suspect is somebody who you think would benefit from a conversation with you about their current estate plan, but they have not agreed to have that conversation with you. And there lies the problem. There lies the skill. There lies the art and the technique. So if I teach you how to identify a suspect, and you probably live next door to one, you probably walk by 100 of them every day. You probably know of people with unique situations with prostate cancer or any kind of health problem, or maybe a family member with an issue that's going on, or a child that's. I went bowling the other night and I saw a little girl uh, in a wheelchair. She was about maybe 5 years old, and she was having so much fun. And she wasn't bowling at all, but she was cheering everybody on and laughing. And I knew it wasn't appropriate, but I kept just wanting to walk up to that gentleman and go, you would probably benefit from a conversation with me about your estate plan. But I was trying to just pay attention to my grandchildren. But now I sort of feel bad that I didn't do that, because that child will probably be in that wheelchair the rest of her life. And there's a real good chance that economically she will never be strong enough to survive on her own. And that if someone has a conversation with that parent about setting the estate up right so that that child can have a successful, comfortable, fearless life, and the front door to that is, I think you might benefit from having a conversation with me about your current estate plan. So, if I teach you what to say that guarantees they will want to talk to you on a favorable basis, that's what makes them a prospect. Now, you entry-level people, you don't have to have an insurance license for that. You don't have to have a securities license for that. All you have to have is knowledge and a mentor to help you through it until you master it yourself. And it's really easy to master. You can master it. And my theory is you can master it in 30 days if you have a good teacher. So we'll teach you to the go-to first interview. Now, there's people on this call today that are totally capable of teaching other people how to do this. But if you implement the proper go-to first interview, entry-level people, in most cases, this interview will lead you to the front-end sale. You want to make an extra $500,000 a week, working 3 or 4 hours a week? Let me teach you how to hunt. So as an entry-level representative, you will not have a license. You will not be one of my licensees. You don't need an insurance license. All you need is a mentor. And you'll make $500 on your first sale. But on your second sale, if you say, hey, I don't want to make $500, I want to make $1,200, then your mentor will say, let me show you how to become what we call the bronze licensee. the monthly $49.95 licensee who now has control of their own website and control of their own clients and has the privacy of those clients. If you are willing to take that step, you'll go from 500 to 1,200 in 2 weeks or 1 week. And then you only have to either make half as many sales as you did the week before, or you're more likely, if you're the right person, I think you might be, you'll probably want to make twice as many sales. So every entry level representative that works in my company will have a mentor that I have trained. Or if you get stuck, you might get stuck with me too. I don't know. Who knows? I'm pretty good at it too. But the ones that I've trained that I select to be mentors, they are good. And the ones that I have selected that aren't good at it yet, all you got to do is learn how and implement. So upon your first sale, and if your confidence is built on the first sale, if you take your 30-day training that I'm going to give you absolutely free. That's why I call it advanced training spoon fed. I'm just going to say, here, have a little bite. Here's just a little bit more. Here's just a little bit more. And it's going to take 10 or 15 minutes a day for 30 days. And at the end of that 30 days, I'm going to have you ready to be a six-figure income earner if you want it, or if you can see yourself having one. And if you can't see yourself having one or don't want it, it's probably not the right thing. It's okay. But your mentor will recommend that you be allowed to have your own software license called the bronze, copper, silver, or gold tier production. And see, I'm not going to say this is what I want you to do. I'm going to say, what do you want to do? What is it you want out of this knowledge that we're giving you? So as an entry-level person, anytime you're ready, you can say, I'm ready to stretch my wings and fly. I want to go to the bronze level. Which automatically increases your commission from $500 to $1,200 for the exact same product. But there's a cost to the decision to have the software. I try to minimize it. It's $49.95. If you want, if you want the spoon-fed training over 30 days, that's great. But if you want to do the fast track training and have access to all my training videos at randallbaxter.com, you can move up to the bronze level. There's an entry fee of $149.90. And then $49.95 a month after that, just to maintain your website. But by then, if you're ready, then you ought to be making somewhere between, in the first month, I'm going to say 3 estate plan sales. Second month, 3 more estate plan sales, and probably 1 or 2 back-end sales, totaling $5,000 to $20,000 each. If you are smart enough and good enough and sincere enough, and if the person you pick to sell to believes in you and realizes that you are helping them set up the rules for when they are the weakest point in their life or time to distribute their assets to their loved ones. Did you hear me say any products there? You don't need to be a product salesman to be a high-paid financial services rep working at Asset Positioning Services or working in association with Asset Positioning Services. You don't have to be that. You just have to follow the roadmap that we give you. So you get if you say I want to be bronze, from entry level bronze, you get the fast track training. You get access to my sales training website. You get the privacy of your own website for your clients, the ability to print and deliver your estate plans that you sell, and increasing the commission from $500 to $1,200. If you're not ready and you want to stay at the entry level position, your mentor will be in that position for you, so that you don't have to worry about having the insurance license or things like that. All you have to worry about is making the front end sale. It's just again, I believe that you ought to be able to write your own ticket. I don't believe in pushing or pulling. I just want you to say, this is where I want to go. And I'll go, great, let me show you this roadmap. So what would a typical week be? Well, I would ask you to attend the appropriate weekly training. This training is going to be every week for 4 weeks on the entry level. Uh, you attend the appropriate weekly training workshop webinar for your level of production. We have what I call it our weekly webinar on Tuesdays at 3 o'clock, where we talk about topics for experienced licensees and those kind of things. But from now on Fridays, we're going to have a webinar for inexperienced people that want to learn the first steps. So in the first, an average week, you'll attend the appropriate webinars, which probably 3 or 4 hours a week, maybe 2 hours a week. You'll develop and work your suspect list through your mentor. Some of you won't even need a mentor. Some of you have so many suspects you won't know what to do. And some of you may have existing clients or people who you've done business with you in the past. Other people are going to need to be taught how to go and talk to people that they know. So, and I'm going to ask you to talk to your mentor weekly. I try to do that. We have 140 licensees across the United States right now. My mission is to have 1,000 by December 31. And there's room in this country for 50,000. So anyway, if all I want you to do is use the go-to first interview, because that's the one that works, and that's the one that makes you distinctive, and that's the one that if you keep repeating it, you get better at it every time, and if you keep repeating it, it gets easier every time. So what is the role of the first interview presenter, the entry level person that's coming into our company? And I don't mind telling you, there were hundreds of applications in January just to have the entry level position at Asset Positioning Services. Hundreds. If you don't believe me, ask Greg Davis. To establish, so the role of the first interview presenter is to establish the first step of the long-term relationship and to set up the back end sale. That doesn't mean you have to make the back end sale. It just means, let me teach you how to set up the back end sale. And the reason I want you to learn to set up the back end sale is because you're going to get the front end sale commission, and you're probably going to say, "Hey, Randy, can I learn to be an insurance agent?" And I'm going to go, "Yeah, but only if you want to be." And I trained agents for many, many years. And what I found is that the successful agents were good at approaching people they'd already done business with in the past. That doesn't mean that they had insurance clients like that. It's just anybody that they had done business with in the past. So all I ask you to do is consider what the sacrifice might be. Maybe if you're working in a factory and loading boxes in a truck all day, or working in a part-time job delivering food for people because you haven't found anything good enough to do yet, um, or maybe just in a job that you can't see going anywhere. I had somebody last week tell me, uh, I left that company because they didn't give me what they said they would give me. And I asked them, well, why didn't you just take it? Why didn't you just say, this is who I'm going to be and this is what I'm going to do? If that's who you are and you say, this is who I want to be, and I want you to teach me how to do it, I'll say, that's who I want to work with. So, so, the sacrifice is looking at it and trying to decide how to unlock success at Asset Positioning Services. It can be in so many different directions. What it won't be is an hourly pay. It'll be a 1099 commission job that either will supplement your current job or replace your current job or give you an opportunity to build a career that can last you a lifetime with a really, really high income. You know, Somebody asked me yesterday why I did that. Why do I do that? Why do I spend my time trying to teach people? Um, and some of you know me a little bit, but I'm just at a point in my life where if I want to really say, hey, my life has been successful, I'm going to be able to leave a lot of people with a process that they can feed themselves and take care of their families and prosper and grow for the rest of their lives. And it's not fluff. It's not bluff. It's a life that I have lived that I have just decided to put into a process and teach people what I do. So I call it the cycle of success. And, you know, all I ask you to do is to make a commitment, a sacrifice to identify people who you think would benefit from a conversation with you about their current estate plan. If you cannot do that, or if you cannot let yourself do that, or if you do not want to do that, don't waste your time. But if you want to learn how to do that and have some reservations about how to do it, I'll show you how if you'll implement. So think about this. This is so important. People tell me all the time, I don't know who to talk to. And I just want to just pinch them because you can talk to single adults, you folks that are young, you entry level people that are young and maybe in your 20s and 30s. What if you're 24 years old and you find yourself on that table in the hospital injured or sick and the doctor doesn't know if you're going to survive or not and you don't have the paperwork for your parents to represent you? What if you just got married and now your parents say, hey, you're not our responsibility anymore. You belong to this other person. Do you have the proper paperwork to represent your spouse? Try to talk to their insurance company if you don't. But and if you go to the newlyweds, what if they're new parents? One of my friends in high school became a doctor at the University of Tennessee and had two children and loaded them up in the car and with his wife to go on vacation to leave the hospital and pulled out of the parking lot and got run over by a Mack truck and wiped him out. The children survived. Parents died. Doctor's career ruined. Income lost. I wonder who took care of those children. You think he had the paperwork to take care of those children? I don't know. I was too young and dumb to know how to help him. But then what if those new parents got divorced? You doesn't that mean that you probably don't want the spouse to represent you? Don't you think that that person might benefit from a conversation with you about their current estate plan? What if they brought children to the marriage and wanted to be sure that the children they're bringing to the marriage had access to the assets that were coming down through that bloodline and that they didn't want the other new bloodline to have those assets? Do you think that person might benefit from a conversation with you? Or how about an extended head of a household? An extended head of a household, I kid people, that's probably Jed Clampett on the Beverly Hillbillies. How about a single parent? How about the new wealthy, the lottery winners, the people who just and sometimes think that people say they're wealthy just because they got a great job that doubled their income. That they don't have a lot of built up wealth, but they have a lot of new income. What about people going into new careers or pre-retirees? And right now, if you talk to the pre-retiree and the retiree, that's where the big sale back end money is, but it's also where the easy front end sale is for you entry level people. What about people with a new health problem? You know, uh, prostate cancer is a big problem with older men. You know, uh, yeah, I might look at somebody that I know smokes 2 packs of cigarettes a day, and I might look at them and know, hey, what's going to happen to you? If you're going to keep smoking those cigarettes, maybe you might benefit from a conversation with me about your current health plan. I mean, your current estate plan. You know, what, again, what, remember that disabled child I spoke about a few minutes ago, or the spendthrifts. You know, I got a call last night about 8 o'clock. Uh, Somebody wanting to know what their grandmother had left them in their estate plan. And I said, well, I'm going to let your grandmother tell you that. That's not for me to tell you. But I know for a fact that she didn't want him to have control of the money. And I set it up that way. But it's not for me to tell him, for grandma. So, so what do people with heavy debt? If you run into somebody that's got a lot of debt, man, they need uh, a revocable living trust with a trustee who knows that they don't have to give them that money if the creditor is going to take it away from them. And there's same-sex couples, and there's May, November romances and relationships. You know, and I call those personal observations. So, you know, if you're on the entry level and you say, I don't know how anybody to talk to, look outside the window. So, you know, how do you unlock success in this program? The best way to do it is to emulate what we do without innovating. And again, I'll tell you that in my history and the 140 licensees that we have, those who innovate too soon have lower incomes than those who emulate. I can look at the production reports and tell you who's emulating and who's innovating. So, so in 30 days, if you'll emulate, in 30 days, I'll teach you what you need to know. You will begin implementing at your own pace, not my pace. You can't keep up with me. I'm crazy. I work too hard, but I like what I do. So I don't always see it as work. But if you begin implementing at your own pace, and I don't want to push or pull, you design your experience and we'll mentor your growth. Does that make sense? And we'll say, don't do this. This is the wrong way to go. Do this. This is the right way to do it. And I think you'll find it's true. So when I talk about, you know, what are the career opportunities in asset positioning services, you know, I'm just going to tell you right now, growth doesn't start or stop within the core sales role. This doesn't stop there. And our mission is expand this organization and create more opportunities for top performers. And you know how you get top performers? You train them right. You treat them right. You help them get where they want to go. And a lot of cases, you have to pick them out of the crowd and learn to identify them. And a lot of you entry level people that are here today, um, you've identified yourselves. You're here because you want to be here. You're not here because we've said you got to be here. You're here because you want to be here. You're the person I want. You're the person I want to work with because you're here on your own accord and you're here for whatever your reason is. And it makes me think that you're here to learn something that you think you can implement on your own to change the situation you're in. And I think that's absolutely true. So why would you pick me? Why would you pick my company? Well, I'm going to be honest with you. You ought to pick my company because I've got a canceled check for every mistake you might ever make in this business. And I've already made that mistake, and I'll teach you how to not make it again. I'll show you how to do it right. I could just say I'm experienced, but I'm just giving you the honest version. After 40 years, you learn what to do and what not to do, and you learn how to do things right, and you know how to implement in the least expensive way. You learn how to run a business. So, you know, when I first looked at that picture, I didn't know what it was. I kept turning my head left and right, and I finally realized it was somebody's foot. And it looks like they're getting ready to take off running. So you control your growth and your path. You know, you concentrate on the training that we give you, and you follow up our coaching and upgrade when you're ready. But I'm just going to be honest with you. If you're not trainable and coachable, you're wasting your time and mine. You know, and I've learned to identify people who are not trainable or not coachable. You know, so uh, you set your in my company, you set your own path. You say, hey, I'm happy making $3,000 or $4,000 a month. I'm gonna go, I'm happy for you. But if you say, I'm making $3,000 or $4,000 a month and I'm okay, but I want to make that 10,000 or that 15,000 or that $20,000 a month. And I'm gonna go, here's what I'm gonna say to you. Let me teach you how to hunt. Let me teach you what to say. Let me teach you what to do at the right time. And then let me teach you how to do it over and over and over and over. Do the same thing again and again and again and pick up your tempo and build your momentum. Momentum's a secret to this business. So, so here we are. Level one, the entry level representative. You will learn how to make the front end sale if you attend our classes. The back end sale will be handled by your mentor. Your mentor will be one of my licensees. Might be me, but I stay pretty busy. And your commission on your first sale is going to be $500. It's going to be the easiest sale you ever made. But you're not going to want to stop there, I don't think. But you can, and you can go do it again and make another $500 the next day or the next week. It's your choice. You go at your own pace. But once you've mastered level one, once you've said, hey, I understand the approach, I understand what to say to the prospect in the first interview, the family tree asset positioning, I understand why and how. I don't want to make $500 anymore. I want to make $1,200 doing the exact same thing that I made when I made $500. And I'm going to say, great. You need to be a licensee. You need to control your own website, and you need to control your clients and not just be an entry-level person. But the entry-level person, that this company is going to be built around the entry-level person. Come in and learn. But if you say, to get that $1,200, you mean I have to spend $149 in the first month and then $49 a month? And I'm going to say, yeah, invest in yourself. But if you wanted to, you can go up to an even higher level. And I've got a lot of people that are here at this meeting today that are at higher levels than that. Some of you don't even know your bronze, copper, silver, or gold. A copper representative is the same as a bronze person, but they get they don't have to pay that $149 fee, and they save $100 by paying the annual fee instead of the monthly fee. So actually, you save $200 by saying, "Okay, I made my first sale. I don't want to be bronze. I want to be copper." And the only difference between a copper and a silver is the amount of money that they make. The silver person, my silver licensees make a whole lot more money than my copper because I make them a silver licensee once they prove to me that they own their own estate plan. They don't have to buy it from our company. They just have to prove that they have one. The folks who are our licensees who have their own estate plan make more money than the ones who get run around without one. But I don't force you to buy it from us. I just force you to prove you have one. And if you have one, I'm willing to spend a little more time because I keep saying this person's a believer. This person is ready. Because this person can approach the person that would benefit from a conversation with them about their current estate plan if they've already designed the one that fits them. And then there's the gold, and the gold is the person that wants to be a master licensee and wants to develop a sales team of silver, copper, bronze, and entry level representatives and wants to teach what we teach. If you come to me and tell me you don't want to teach what I teach, I'm really not interested. Okay, I want you to follow my program because because I know that those who don't teach what we teach, who are licensees that work in my company, their licensees don't make as much money as my licensees. And it's because my licensees do what I ask them to do and learn the process. I hope that makes sense. So, you've already been introduced to the first upgrade if you're going to be an entry level. Copper saves you $100. Silver just proves that you've got your estate plan. You can get it at the wholesale cost if you want it. Gold allows you to be a recruiting mentor, which is not the topic of today's class. That's a separate class that the people that I'm going to be picking to be the recruiting mentors are going to be invited to a special class here probably next week. If you're here and you want to be one of those people, you probably need to attend that class because I need to teach you how to be a mentor. Some of you already know, but this, we don't even talk about this until you make your first sale, and your first sale should be one of the easiest ones you make. So it's a growing and nodule implementation process that we teach. Most first upgrades are bronze, copper, or silver, and you do this when you're ready. No pressure, but more profitable when you believe now is the time. But first get trained and coached. I can teach you in 30 days, spoon fed. But if you say, no, that's not fast enough, talk to me or Greg or Jay and learn the fast track learning system. The only difference between fast track and spoon fed is the exact same course, but the fast track you can do in a weekend, and the entry level takes you 30 days. I don't know what pace you want to work at. Some of you work full time and have to only have just a little bit of time each day, and that's great. But some of you are ready and want to go the fast track instead of the 30-day. All you got to do is tell me. We'll talk to Greg. Greg will show you how to do it. So what are the next steps? Okay. Well, you don't even have a mentor yet, but if you're here at this meeting, I'm going to assign you one today. I'm going to assign you one if you want it. And your mentor is going to help you establish your first 10 suspects. When I was doing it all on my own, trying to get people to establish their first 10 suspects, and then when I realized that I could have a whole team of people helping people get their first 10 suspects, that's what I call a force multiplier that I mentioned to you a little while ago. Because 10 people helping people find 10 suspects means 100 presentations in the 30-day period instead of 10. And I'd much rather change 100 lives this month than I would 10. So we're going to get you to establish your first 10 suspects of people you think would benefit from a conversation with you about their current estate plan. No other approach. I don't even want to hear about other approaches because this is the one that works and shines. If you want to fumble around with something else, just don't let me know about it. Just do what I ask and compare what you're doing versus what I'm asking you to do. And if the answer is not a 5 or 6 figure income, I don't want to know what you're doing. I want you to know what I'm doing. So those suspects will learn something they were not aware of in their estate plan. They will act on their own new awareness, and they will do it through you, and they will do this by making a front end purchase. And I call this the front end sale. They will, most of the time, they will look at you and go, what's my next step? Thank you, Jay, for that picture. Here's what happens though. You said, what do I do in a given week? Okay, well, the first week, in the first week, if I could just teach you to develop a list of 10 people, I'm going to feel like we got the most successful training program in America. Because after that, after the first 10 days of the advanced training spoon-fed sales system, next week, that's what we're going to talk about. You've all received, you entry-level people have all received the first 1 or 2 emails today and yesterday. But next week, next Friday, we're going to talk about the first 10 lessons. And we're not going to talk about anything else. If you want to talk about lesson 21, not next Friday. Next Friday, we're going to talk about the first 10 lessons. Talk about the videos you watch. We're going to talk, if you will let me spoon feed you, I'll have you eating steak and lobster by day 29 or 30 if you want it. So, you've already received the starter emails. And all I want you to do is open them and read them. I've already gotten a couple of emails, people saying, "Hey, I read your book," because you get a copy of the book, Approach, Plan, Succeed, in the first email. Read it. It takes about 2 cups of coffee. Jay, you're drinking rich coffee there. Those look like lattes or something. I like black coffee, but I guess you could drink 2 of those. If I drank 2 of those, my blood sugar would get real high. But uh, maybe Greg, you held up 4 fingers. Maybe it takes 4 cups of coffee. I don't know. But read the book. The book tells you the journey that you're about to take. And inside the book, it tells you the journey that I already took. So, do your short daily lessons and be prepared to ask questions. Failure is usually a lack of implementation almost every time. If you will implement what I say, you'll be good at this. If you don't implement what I say, you won't be good at this, or you'll be good at this at a very much slower rate. So, start with good habits. Email me with questions. The appropriate APS staff member will respond. Y'all don't know this, but over the past month or so, I have found 2 of the most amazing men and one of the most amazing young ladies who lives in South Africa that has learned to take what I have shown them and focus in their area. And there's a real good chance if you ask me a question, I might say, "Hey, I want to refer you over to Jay," or I might refer you over to Greg. You folks that want to be master licensees, I want to refer people to you. I'm, but I need you to be doing what we do. So there's my email address. It's randallbaxter@randallbaxter.com. You can get in there and email me anytime you want to, and I appreciate everybody. I appreciate your time today. It's important. The entry level people, that's a pretty big step. So, the first email includes my book, Approach, Plan, Succeed. Read it this weekend. Takes about 2 cups of coffee. And then send your questions direct to me. I will send them to Jay, or I'll send them to Greg, or I'll send them to anybody that you identify that you want to talk to. I'll get the appropriate staff person to answer your question. Momentum builds slowly, and it's hard to stop once it's rolling. Build your momentum. Let me teach you to hunt. Let me teach you to hunt quicker, a little bit every week. So just to close, and this is something I've been trying to tell people for the past couple of weeks. It's about knowledge, and I've been talking to you about, if you want to be an entry level person in my company, you're going to have to let your knowledge grow, and you gain a lot of knowledge over the next 30 days. I promise you, whether you decide to be an entry level person or a licensee with us or whatever, you're going to get a lot of knowledge if you take that class. But you know what? That knowledge is absolutely useless storage of data if it's not used appropriately. It's not what you know, it's what you do with it. So I would much rather have somebody that was not very good at the approach about talking to people about their current estate plan and benefiting about their current estate plan. I'd rather have somebody that was operating at 40 or 50% of capacity and ability to do a good job with it than somebody who could master it and not do anything with it. So, I'm going to teach you to implement. I'm going to say, "Hey, do you have your 10 suspects? Let's talk about them. Why do you think they're good suspects? Why do you want to approach them? Here's what I want you to say to them." And if we do all that and you don't implement, I'm going to look at you and go, what's wrong with your rocket launcher? Why are you not getting off the pad? And once we identify what that is, then we can either know what to do about it, or I can look at you and say, well, you're not trainable and you're not coachable because I'm giving you everything you need. And the only thing missing is implementation. So, next week we're going to talk about the first 10 lessons, and some of you've established people that are here for the class today to see what's going on. You don't need to be there next week. Now you can bring some people to the meeting if you want to. If you want them to be, if they want to be mentored by you, bring them. You'll get the email. So anyway, that's all I got to say. I just want everybody to know that I'm very happy that you're here. All I need you to do, if you're working with Greg or Jay or myself, let us know what you need and we'll get it to you. So other than that, it's Friday afternoon. I've already driven 120 miles today, delivered a trust, made an appointment to replace the trust sale that I've already delivered, set up a back-end sale, and there's still a little bit of afternoon left. And I don't have anything to do. And that's what I'm going to do. So if you have any questions, send them to me. I'll look at them this afternoon. But other than that, I hope you'll join us next week. And I think Greg will be in touch with you if you're one of the entry-level people. And if you want to take the next step, you folks that are established with us and want to talk about it, send me a note and let's talk about that. So other than that, I'll open it up to questions. Jay, I don't know if it's you or Lisa's going to do it, but it looks like we have a couple of questions in the chat room. Does anybody want to open it, ask a question?
Oh, hi, Randy. Oh, sorry.
Hello.
There's your question in the chat.
Okay.
Hi,
Yes.
Les said, how can I know my mentor?
I'm going to introduce you to your mentor. I'm going to start you out with Jay because I've been working hard with Jay, and Jay knows what to say and do. And you can interview my mentors. You can talk to Jay. You can talk to where are you? Where are you located?
Thank you. Okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear that very well. First of all, I'm going to be your main mentor. And I'm going to guide you and I'm going to say, hey, the next thing you need to learn is the cycle of success. And then I'm going to send you, I'm going to send a note over to Greg, and Greg's going to make an appointment with you. He's going to talk to you about what the cycle of success is. If we get down to a point where you need to learn how to, you're advancing and you need to learn how to do the delivery to set up the back end sale, I'm probably going to introduce you to Jay, because Jay understands, and he's been working with Mac Bemis and he understands how to do that. If one of you established people bring somebody, that's going to be your mentor to start, and we will coach your mentor on what you need. But I'll tell you, everybody needs the same thing. You need to start at lesson 1, and then do lesson 2, and then do lesson 3. And as we build your knowledge, you'll see that your momentum's starting to grow. So whoever asked that, I didn't see who asked it. Your head mentor is going to be me, and then my staff's going to step in and support me in the areas that you need, because I had to develop force multipliers. Does that answer your question? I think your hand's still up, but I see a hand up.
That was a different question in the chat, but Han, go ahead and if it's Hang, you can go ahead and come off of mute and ask your question.
Go ahead, Hang.
Hi, sorry, I was having technical difficulties. Yes, so I am already part of the program. I'm pretty sure I'm bronze.
Okay.
And I was gonna say if I could, I've only been working with you, Randy, but I
Uh-huh.
actually have 3 appointments set up next week, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm like super nervous. These will
Okay.
be my
Okay.
first appointments. So I was wondering if I could get an appointment with you to kind of sit down and go through them.
Okay.
So that
All
way
right.
I
So
can be ready going in.
yes, just go in now. I have an pretty much open schedule Monday. Okay, I think
Perfect.
there's
Okay.
three. Okay, so you can go into my calendar on my website and make that, and just be aware that after you and I talk, I may say I think that your next step is to have a talk with Greg or have a talk with Jay.
Okay.
All right, but the first thing we're going to do is we're going to diagnose what it is you're scared about, and I'll be honest with you. I can just tell by listening to your voice that fear is not should not exist. You're going to be fine.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
All you have to do is stick to the process and
Okay.
learn that presentation. Um, it, uh, have it, where are you in the training right now?
I'm all done with the training, and I've actually caught a couple of the webinars. I actually
Okay.
caught your live training, the one you did with it was like it was with 2 other people, but it was kind of like a mock-up. So I I got to see all that, and I've done the training. It's just
Okay.
I've not done it before, and I think I'm kind
Okay.
of in a little bit of analysis paralysis.
Okay. All right. And that's usually the problem. And so once you realize that if you have chapter 21 and have the agenda in front of you,
Mhm.
you don't have to memorize anything anymore. You just have to know where you are in the agenda.
Okay.
And you're going to be fine, and you also have to remember that the person you're talking, you don't have to be one step ahead of your client,
Mhm.
and they will never know that if you follow that agenda, they will think that you are a master. I promise you, just follow the agenda. And but yeah, schedule an appointment with me, and we'll walk through that. I want you to I think on randallbaxter.com there's a lesson on power phrases.
Mhm.
Uh, there's also a lesson, and Greg might be able to help you better on that. Greg, uh, you can go to Greg Davis at randallbaxter.com, and he might be able to send you the appropriate videos. He'd be more
Okay.
than happy to do that. And if you would just have those videos watched before you talk with me, I think we'll make a lot of progress.
That's perfect.
But,
Thank you so much.
but you sound like a six-figure income to me.
I mean, I'm pretty good in sales. I've been doing life insurance for a while, but this is just a whole
Okay.
new arena. So
Well, uh, it's a whole new approach to the same
yes,
arena. Okay.
exactly.
And from now on, you won't be doing, I sell life insurance. Uh, we did 3 life insurance policies yesterday.
Mhm.
Okay. All involved in what people wanted for each other inside their estate plan. You know, if they're talking about inside that estate plan, whether they have the liquidity or whether they have enough money to pay for the income. Sometimes on the income presentation, they don't have assets, and that means a big life insurance sale.
Mhm.
So, do me a favor and if you have the fast track training, go to lesson 21, 22, 23, and 24.
Okay.
Watch the videos again in randallbaxter.com at FTAP training about the presentation. You might also want to, there's one of the presentations in there is how to use the free trial with the family tree asset positioning presentation.
Okay.
And uh, go to your website and go through the interviews. You know, that interview for the estate plan is not the interview that I'm teaching you. I'm teaching the family tree asset positioning go-to first interview, which leads you to the estate planning interview after they decide to
Okay.
buy. Okay, so just take your time and realize that your clients, if you do this process, your clients are going to think you're so good that they're going to be glad that they're doing business with you. But that's what
Perfect. Thank you
happens.
so much.
That's what happens. Okay. Are there any other questions?
May I ask a question?
Of course. Tony, how you doing?
I'm well, thanks. Hey, I've got, as a result of just, walking and talking and being around, two different insurance agents, and is the proper way to go? Should I do should I do the family first interview with them first, or just the fact that they're in the business and they've got people to go to, just bring what's the best way to introduce them into this
Okay, good question.
ecosphere?
Okay, the best way to do it is to perform it.
All right.
Go in and do the family tree asset positioning, go to first interview. And if you're looking to do it from a recruiting basis, say, let me show you how we get to the back end sale. Because if they're already insurance agents, I'm going to be honest with you, most insurance agents are struggling with the people to see. Okay, but they're also struggling with looking for the bigger sale. Okay, and what I've learned is it's just as easy to sell to a millionaire as it is to a non-millionaire.
Right.
Okay.
One of them is a Medicare only agent that doesn't even have a life license.
Okay. All right. Then you should bring him in as an entry level licensee, either bronze or gold, or just as an entry level person, and work with them. Because if they don't have a life license and they see what the potential is, they'll be getting one. But in the process, show them what you know and help them, and then the back end sale belongs to you.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. But like if they do the front end sale, you've not got a relationship. So how do you get introduced into the back end
Okay.
sale?
Good question. That's the entry level person's job. If they sell the estate plan, they say, now it's time for you to meet Mr. Sheets, who does our funding process. They set the stage for you. We teach them how to do that.
Okay.
The main mission, though, is for them to say, I can do this too, because we want people to grow.
Right.
Okay. So we'll teach them how to get to introduce Tony Sheets.
Okay. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Oh, come on. All right. There's no question too simple or too hard. I think we can always answer whatever the issues are. Just know that if you're out there listening and you say, "Hey, I think this is something we want to do, or I want to do," just know that if you will just listen to what we have to say and do the things that we teach, I think that the true reason that you came to this meeting today will be solved. And just ask yourself, why did you really attend this meeting? What is it you're looking for that caused you to spend part of your Friday afternoon to learn about? And that's the starting point. That's where I want to start with you. And some will say I need an extra $1,000 a month. Some will say I don't want to make $2,000 a month more. I want to make $10,000. Well, that's your starting point. Everybody's got a different starting point. Everybody. Okay, anything else? Lisa, if you can send us a list of the people who attended, or Jay or whoever, both of you, I'm going to sign off for the rest of the afternoon.
Randall,
Yes,
should I send out a recording as well?
yes.
Okay, I will do.
Yes, send a recording to everybody, and let's everybody have a great weekend. Hey, Santi, I will tell you that something that I have learned over the past couple years is that sometimes the reason people don't have the income that they want is because they may be afraid to try to get it. And if you will use my system, that fear goes away very quickly if you implement what I teach you to do. One of the missions in my sales process is to get rid of the fear and the uncertainty and the doubt. And once I get that gone, and it takes a little sacrifice. Remember, we talked about sacrifice. it takes a little sacrifice. You got to feel a little pain. But once you realize that the pain is not quite as much as you thought it was, the pain goes away. And then the momentum starts to build. Soapbox, soapbox. Okay, anything else?
Nothing more in the chat except
Okay.
some thank yous.
Oh, okay. Well, great. Just implement. That's all I got to say. That's the word. That's my word for 2024 is implement. It's what I do, and it seems to work pretty well. All right.
Oh, Randall, there's one question.
Okay, go ahead.
Felicia asks, where do we find an assistant to help with this? Thanks.
Okay, Felicia, I want you to make an appointment with me Monday, and if you will let me, I will be your personal coach. And I think I can lead you where you want to go. Santi, I'm looking at your picture right now. If you'll make an appointment and do what I ask, we'll get you lunch too. Okay, but I will tell you that most of the time, the insecurity and the lack of confidence that people have that keeps them from moving forward is an easy thing to eliminate if you will just listen to how I tell you to eliminate it. And until it gets eliminated, you won't move forward. You'll be stuck in the same pattern over and over and over. And that's what we need to get out of. You have to break that pattern of thought process, that mindset. And I will show you how to get out of that. I'm really good at it. But I'm not very good at it if you refuse to implement the solution. I will diagnose the issue. I will write the prescription for you. You got to take the medicine. And then your income will go up. And Felicia, make an appointment with me. I'd love to work with you one-on-one. Anybody else out there? And Felicia, it's free. You said, who can you hire? You've already hired me. If you want the time and the knowledge, but I need to get you to take and I'm going to identify the next step for each person that wants to talk to me. I'm going to just be honest with you and say, this is the next step you need to take. So before I close out, I'm going to tell you about the biggest next step that ever scared me to death. I was about 20 years old, and all my friends were rappelling off this big cliff, and it was my turn. And I got hooked up, and I walked over to the back of that cliff, and everybody else was walking down the side of that cliff, and I couldn't do it. I was too scared. And I unbuckled my stuff, and I never walked down that cliff, and I wished I had. Because the 12-year-old kid that was following me hooked up and walked down the side of that mountain, that cliff. So, it was fear. It was uncertainty and doubt. I didn't think that rope would hold me, but it did. It held everybody else. And so don't have regrets of things that are never going to happen. So just get rid of those thoughts and listen to what you need to do. And I'm going to tell both of you, I think the real, or anybody that wants to work with you, the very first step is identify 10 people that you think would benefit from the conversation, and have the courage and desire to change their lives by having that conversation with you. That's how simple it is. And they will welcome you for saying it to them. I think you would benefit from a conversation about your current estate plan. I think you would benefit with a conversation with me about your current estate plan. Felicia and Santi and everybody, that's just the truth. Any other questions? You entry-level people, Greg Davis, get in touch with him. He will probably, if you say, I want to move forward, he'll probably work with you on the cycle of success, and then probably hand you off to your assigned mentor unless you want somebody else. But I think the best one for you right now is Jay Cadlick, and because he's working directly with me, I'm mentoring him, and he is and Greg are 2 of my force multipliers. Hope that makes sense. Anything else? We got another chat question there?
Nothing in the chat, just some more thank yous from
Okay.
Oren and Felicia.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, I'm going to rest the rest of the day. It's been a crazy week. Jay, I think you wanted to spend some time with me. I'd like to take a nap. That terrible if you deal with an old guy.
It's all right. It can wait.
Okay. All right, you guys, I'm going to sign off, and I appreciate you. And I want you entry level people here next week, and we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to have you into nice incomes before March if you want it. Y'all take care. I'm out.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for coming.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you all.